Letters don't mean anything in Ireland. Okay? They just decide a word or a name, then they reach into a bucket and they grab a group of letters and they throw it on the birth certificate. It's like this random process. So normally I would pronounce her name Ruffning. No? See? She said no. It's rough, the word rough, N-E-E-N. How would you pronounce that? Ruffning. Yes? Okay. But not in Ireland, so she'll have to tell us later on how her name is pronounced. But from Ireland, in youth defense, Rebecca. It's Rockney, R-O-C-K is how we would spell that. Where's my list here? Oh, yes. Also, from Human Life Alliance, who makes so much of the work that we do at Survivors possible by producing the Human Life Alliance handout, Joe Langfield. And then our very own Campus Life Tour Director, Kristina Garza. That's actually not the title.
Oh, great.
See how I like to do this? Have a seat, Kristina. All right. You notice how they're defiant. It's just the way they are. Advocating life on your campus and in your community. It is the place that you can really make a difference. And this panel of speakers has a wealth of information. It's truly a cross-section of what you need, the type of personalities, the literature, and the legal protection that you're going to need when you're on campus. We originally did not have a legal component to this talk. And then it was almost like disingenuous. Because if you go onto a campus to advocate life, you are going to suffer persecution. Period. You are. Anybody who tells you different is selling you something. They're lying to you. You're going to. You think you're just going to walk on campus and you're just going to hand out a piece of literature and you're not going to be bothered? Well, if it was on almost any other topic, you wouldn't be. But if you're outstanding for life, you indeed are going to suffer persecution. I'm going to kind of give just a little range of campus activists. My daughter, Janie, who's in Africa, is returning tomorrow. Very excited for her to return home. But Janie, on her campus, simply took pictures of aborted babies all by herself and stood once or twice a week in the middle of her school quad free speech area. Okay? By herself. People see her walk along with her pictures of dead babies. Makes a young lady very popular with the boys. But she was out there. So one person, to Survivors, the group, and what Rebecca's going to share with us. But everybody can participate in campus outreach. I want to share just a quick story about my favorite tactic on campus. Courtney Blythe, who was recently killed in a car accident with Students for Life. She used to be our Campus Life Tour Director. I took her out and I trained her at the campuses. After about a week of driving around with them, I got so tired of the administrators coming up and harassing our team that on the last day I was there, we come to a high school somewhere here in this area, and this school administrator comes out and starts going, you know, whatever she's saying, right? You can't be on this campus, you can't do this, she's talking at me. So I just went back to 5th grade. And I looked at her, and this really works, so you might want to write this down. I just looked at her, and I went, act, 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 act. Every time she said a word, I just went, act, 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 act. Now here's Courtney, it's her first week with Survivors, and she's looking at me like, that's nice, Jeff. I just kept doing it, act, 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 act. The lady eventually walked away, Okay, you can say what you want about the tactic, but it worked for me. However, this panel is going to share with you far more effective ways for you to advocate on your campus. So, up first today, I'm going to ask Kristina to come up and share with us first.
Thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and share my story so I can kind of lead into everything that these people are doing has to do with how I got started with Survivors. I was in my junior year of college when I first ran into Survivors, and I didn't even know who they were. It was probably the fall of 2006 or 2007. And I was running to my math class, and I was running through the quad of my university. I went to the University of California in Riverside. Do I have anybody from the Inland Empire here? Yeah, kind of? Yeah? All right. So I'm running to math class, and then there's these big group of people there, and they have these huge signs, and I'm like, oh, well, that's nice, I'm pro-life too, whatever. Because I was Catholic, and I figured, okay, well, I'm pro-life, right? I think killing babies is bad, but I didn't really know what abortion was. I'd never really thought about it. And as I'm running to class, somebody stops me, and I'm like, dang, the dead people stopped me. Why did they stop me? And she's like, would you like some literature? And I was like, no, I'm already pro-life. I gotta get to class. Leave me alone. I gotta go. And she's like, no, take it. And I was like, I was running, and I was like, why did you stop me? I had inertia going, I was on my way to class. And she's like, no, take it. You might still need it. And I was like, fine, I gotta go to class. And she was so smiley, I couldn't turn her down. So I take it, I stuff it in my bag, and the only reason I took it was to get her to stop talking to me so I could get to class. And then I go home, and I'm pulling my stuff out of my book bag, getting my homework done, and I open the lit and I read it. And literally, the lit changed my life. Because my eyes were opened, I knew that abortion was wrong, but I never thought I needed to do anything about that. I figured other people could do other people could stop abortion. So that night, I made the decision to get trained to become a sidewalk counselor. And then a year later, I was heading up a 40 Days for Life campaign. And then a year later, I met Jeff White, and as he was speaking at one of the events that I organized, realized that the person that handed me the lit was on the Campus Life team. And now I'm with Survivors. So my story has come full circle, and it all started with somebody handing me a piece of literature. And so with that, I just want you to realize, and as a side note, now that I'm with Survivors, I realized that the team that handed me that literature, the team that got it all started for me, was Courtney Blythe's team. So after meeting her and seeing it now, I just wanted to tell you guys that your being here is not an accident. God weaves all of these things together. Your story later will be just as interesting as mine or Lila's or Brian's or any of these people. And you just have to make sure that after you leave here, you take that step and take that action. The moral of the story is that you need to be persistent when you leave from here. Whatever event you're holding, whatever you're doing, if you're getting a club together, if you're organizing an event, you need to be persistent. Don't let any opportunity pass you by to share the truth, because every opportunity is an opportunity to save a life. When you are on campus doing ministry, or you're speaking at an event, or you're sidewalk counseling, you never know the seeds that you're planting. I'm obviously the success story because, not everybody can say that they received a piece of literature and now they're working for Survivors. That is a unique story. But you never know where the people that you hand lit to will end up. You never know who's going to be the next Kristina Garza, or the next John Scharfenberger, or the next Courtney Blythe. So how can you get started? What's one way that you guys can get started doing this? After you leave the conference today, you need to get started doing something. And one way you can start is by starting a campus club. A lot of you in here already are part of a club or are leading a club, but I know some of you are probably struggling or haven't started a club yet. So the first thing you want to do when you get home is start networking. Start gathering a group of people together that you can work with to do pro-life activism. So if it means starting a network of sidewalk counselors, get people together that you can go sidewalk counseling with. or get people together on your campus that are also pro-life that might want to do something with you. Because you want the energy from today and tomorrow to carry you through. You can use the conference today as a platform to start your own ministry back home. Get your group of people together and start a club. You can call Students for Life. They can help you. We can help you. You can call survivors. If you have any trouble with administration, we heard yesterday there was already someone who said they were having trouble starting a club because of the red tape at their school. And that's what Allison is going to talk about a little later. If you're having trouble starting a club or getting sidewalk counseling together or whatever, make sure that you give us a call or give Life Legal Defense or ADF a call, because there are people that want to help you. Keep in mind that it's a spiritual battle, so if there's opposition, that means you're probably doing the right thing. If you don't have enough people, don't get discouraged, because you can still do something as one person. Janie, Jeff's daughter, would walk onto campus by herself with a sign and talk to people and get people to talk to her and change people's mind about abortion. If you can't get enough people together for a club, that doesn't mean you don't have to do anything. You can do things on your own. Wear a pro-life t-shirt to school. That's a really simple action, and you can probably start a lot of conversations that way. You can also go to an abortion clinic on your days off or during your lunch break. Mary Rose, one of our Campus Life team missionaries right now, during college, she would drive to an abortion clinic on her lunch break and then drive back to college for class. So she would only be there for like an hour, but she would still be praying for that hour for the woman walking in, and the woman would see her for that hour. If you can take an hour out of your week to go and stand in front of an abortion clinic after school or during your lunch break, think about how many lives you could save just by being a prayerful witness. I want to encourage you, when you're thinking about events to do, if you're starting a club, think about what would be interesting. You need to keep it interesting. Keep the energy going. If you start a club, or if you get a group together, maybe a homeschool group, I know there are a lot of homeschoolers here. If you want to hold an event, think of something that you guys would want to go to. We are here to help you. So if you need resources, Joe is going to talk to you about the literature that HLA does, but if you need resources, there are people here to help you. If you need an event speaker, call survivors. We can help you with that. If you want to do activism and you need training for that, we can help you with that. So make sure that you get in touch with us, or get in touch with people that can help you with your event. If we can join together, that'll make your event that much stronger. All right, so the question to ask now that you're leaving is, how much are you willing to give? Are you willing to give 20 minutes a week, 1 minute, an hour, a day, a morning sidewalk counseling? Think about right now, how much, when you leave the conference, how much are you going to be willing to give? Because if you will give 20 minutes a week, that's a conversation. So maybe you just ask one person a day, what do you think about abortion? Or maybe if you're willing to give an hour a week, you can start a club on your campus, and that's the time it would take to hold a meeting. Or if you're willing to give 4 hours a week, that's enough for an event a week, an activism event a week. You can do a Show the Truth display on a Saturday and take graphic signs out on a public square. There's a new group called Foot Soldiers for Life in LA, and they just go the first Saturday of every month. They go for 4 hours in front of MacArthur Park, and they have a Show the Truth display. And they hand out literature, and they show graphic signs, and they save lives because people their eyes are open to the truth. And if you want to be really radical, there are missionary opportunities. If you want to take a semester or a school year of your life, you can come see us. You can talk to survivors. You can actually become a pro-life missionary and dedicate your life to saving babies and to sharing the truth about abortion and sharing the gospel of life all the time. So consider how much you want to give, and if you're willing to give a semester or a year, come talk to us. We are here for you to start your own ministry, and becoming a missionary is one way that you can do that. So with that, I kind of just want to challenge you guys to be radical. God will use whatever you do. If you can only give that 1 hour a week, God will use that. Like Lila said yesterday, if you pray, God, use me, that opens a whole wide range of opportunities, right? It's important that you do something, though. When you leave here, don't let this conference just be a little blip on the radar. Oh, I went to that event one time. Make sure you use the tools that you'll be gaining today, and you have a lot. This is a great panel. This is a lot of resources that you'll be able to use. Make sure you use them when you leave. One of my favorite quotations from Mother Teresa is someone asked her, "What are you doing? You can't change the world. Why are you building these dying hospitals? People are just going to die there. You're not going to change the world by building an AIDS hospital, by building a dying hospital. You're not going to change the world by going on the street and talking to one person." And she answered them, she said, "I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to create many ripples." So when you engage in pro-life activism, you're talking to one person at a time. If you hold an event, there are 5, 10, 20, 100, 150 people. That's 150 people that you're affecting, and those people are going to go forth and affect other people. So when you do pro-life activism, you throw a stone across the waters, and you're creating ripples. Right now in our society, we're living in a time when sin is becoming normalized, right? Right now, people think it's okay to kill babies. Abortion is okay, so those waters are still. There are no ripples caused by our sin. When you cast a stone into those waters, you're shaking up the culture. So right now, what you are gathering here are your stones. You're filling up your bag of stones. And we talked about, Pat mentioned David and Goliath yesterday, right? Okay, so now you're going to go forth and you have to throw those pebbles into the waters. Create your ripples. What ripples are you going to create? That's what activism does. You're shaking up the culture. You're challenging the mindset. You're challenging everybody to think about what we're doing. Think about what it means that as a country we accept the killing of children. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and bring up Joe. He's going to give you some tools that you can do to shape the culture, to challenge people. How can you get them to think about what abortion is doing to us and to our society?